Right then, good morning and welcome to welcome to March. As you can see, a bit of a change of venue. We're now we're down at the famous Ashmead Lake, and I'm sure you're all aware that the Carp Society bought Ashmead a year ago, last February, and it's pretty fair to say it was a baptism of fire for us. We had one or two issues last year down here, but happily we resolved them all, and it's Sunday morning now. I've been down here since Thursday. Some of the lads have been down here all last week, and the winter syndicate's just finished, and what we've been doing really is getting it all ship shape and Bristol fashion for the new booking season, which starts tomorrow. So what I'll do, I'll tell you a bit more about Ashmead as we go on, and you'll see a bit more. I'll try and get a few videos and what have you, and we'll try and catch up with a couple of the guys down here, and we'll show you what Ashmead's all about. So we'll catch up with you soon. Right, that one Ashmead, as you can see, is change of venue and a bit of a change of plan. What happened, I went down Ashmead the Thursday, we worked Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Sunday I wasn't feeling very well, but about the hour, then Sunday night I thought, no, I don't feel right well, so I'd intended to stay down there a bit longer, but anyway, I went home, came into work Monday, didn't feel cracky, and then Tuesday, bang, it just put me on my backside. I was just out of it. I went to bed and I just went in fever and delirious, like shivering and then sweating, and I was just completely out of it. So God knows what it was, but I don't want that again. I don't know if it's a combination of working and doing too much in the cold and the wet, or Father Time is catching up with me. I don't know what it was, but I certainly don't want that again. Not funny, but because I was sort of out of it, I couldn't even phone up here and tell them I wasn't coming in. I was just, like I said, I was completely out. And I must be at that age now where people can't get hold of you, they automatically assume you're dead. So, yeah, a bit of a food for thought anyway. So yeah, anyway, we've had a change of plan, and like I said, I'm back here at Horseshoe, and because I had a couple of spare days, I phoned Andrew Ellis up, and luckily he had a little window, so I got him up, and what we're going to do today is we're going to do the top stop pond, do the netting there. If you remember, we couldn't do it in January because it was flooded, so we're just going to run the net through there and see what's what in there, maybe move a couple of fish around, but really it's just to check on them and see how they're doing. So I'll show you a bit of that, and then we'll come back and maybe catch up with Andrew and have a word with him after. Right, Andrew, thanks very much for joining us. We've just done the netting. Thank you for coming up at short notice.
No worries.
Yeah, we're into back end of March now, and what's winter been like for you then? I know you've been a few fisheries.
Yeah, like every winter really, we get all over the place. This week alone we've been to Liverpool and North Norfolk, and now today's been quite pleasant just coming up here obviously, but yeah, it's been full on really. Obviously a lot of people are dealing with the aftermath of last summer, which was crazy for a lot of people, and in fact in North Norfolk where we were, the two of the lakes that we looked at were still, believe it or not, haven't filled up after the summer drought. It was
really?
Yeah, it's horrendous, yeah, and a lot of people have dealt with that and had to deal with the low water is what has caused a lot of problems last summer, and that's what we're going around seeing, the aftermath of that really on a lot of venues. But
yeah, that's quite mad because we've got the opposite here.
Yeah,
it's still sort of.
Yeah, one week we were in I think it was before Christmas. We were in Norfolk one week, and the lake we were netting was 4 foot down, and it was away from all of our marginal vegetation. Luckily, we'd done it the year before and took a load of tiny silvers out, so we'd relieve the pressure a little bit. about 4 days later, we were in Essex, not that far away, and there's videos somewhere on my YouTube, but the water was flowing over the banks, and it's just literally, and the difference around the country, same as last week. We were netting at Woburn last week, snowing in the snow, and now it's sunny. It's like this all over the place, and the whole winter's been like that for us. We've done a lot of miles, as we always do, but again, I think that's part of the benefit of seeing so many venues and going to so many parts of the country. It's just you're learning all the time and you're seeing what's going on rather than just being fixed at one point. You're seeing everything go on, and so it really opens your eyes to what really happens around the country, you know.
Apart from the flooding, has there been any one major consistency that fisheries have struggled with over the winter, or is it a case of just getting things tickety-boo for the summer, really?
I think last summer, more so than a few summers previous to that. I mean, there is a lot more awareness now. There's a lot more people, obviously, obviously the internet helps with that, being more aware that if you just live on a wing and a prayer and hope for the best in the summer, quite often it isn't. And a lot of people are realising that the winter is the time to get your ducks in a line or whatever, you know, and sort yourself out ready for, and you've got we always try and work a year ahead, like I've always said to you. You're always trying to plan for a bad year or plan for the worst. And it's all climate, it's involved with the climate. But yeah, most people, I think, certainly the newer clients we get, and they're now realising that, you know, they want to do as much as they can in the winter. And a lot of that is stock management. Yeah, sure, you know, you're just creating space ready for the fact that, you know, if you've got mains electric and a fence, that's two of your battles now. You know, I used to frown upon lakes with aerators 15 years ago because I used to think we got too many fish. But now, there's, again, because we see so many venues, you're like, well, a lot of places don't get the water that they need. You know, you're relying on either just runoff or you're relying on groundwater, which isn't there. So everywhere is different. But no, a lot of it has been a case of, you know, one of the reasons when you have a hot summer, quite often that triggers good spawning and good survival, but then that can have a knock-on and negative effect later on in the summer if there's not enough space and food and oxygen and all that sort of thing. So yeah, it's a case of going into these venues, and this winter we've caught staggering amounts of fish in some of these waters. You know, thousands and thousands of pounds weight of fish in lakes which haven't been done for a while, and you're just trying to open people's eyes up, you know, and sort of saying you can't. Yes, you're all right. The anglers will always tell you to put more in, but you can't keep these lakes with this amount of fishing all the time and not expect to have problems. And all we try and do is to say to people, look, yeah, all right, they're okay today in the middle of winter, and they should be okay in the winter, but you've got to look forward and you've got to sort of preempt problems and issues, and it's difficult because algal blooms, and you're dealing with nature, so low oxygen algal, they're going to happen, but you've got to be aware of that. So you manipulate your stock and obviously the immediate environment, and yes, it does mean, like we always preach about trees, plants, this sort of thing, but yeah, you can really pinpoint and identify issues in the winter and hopefully work with the client to sort that out before the summertime. Because I expect the summer to be hot again. I do. I reckon it's going to. We haven't really had a cold, but like I say, we've been netting in the snow and the ice, but it comes and goes as quick as you like.
Yeah, it's been very up and down. Yeah. When you think you're getting out of the cold snap and then bang, it's
straight in again. Yeah.
But yeah, going back to what I said, we got caught a little bit on the op last year down at Ashmead. I think with it being a new lake to us, you're not aware of it, and the oxygen sort of crashed and we didn't have stuff on site, so it was a mad panic. So I suppose the advice really is for be prepared before it happens. It's a nightmare when you get caught on the op because the fish lives depend on it, don't
they? Of course they do, especially at a place like Ashmead, which, well, you know what was going on down there. It was just it was on life support during that. And it's partly because the weed got so bad, the wind couldn't get on the water. It was hitting the weed, and there's no movement, and you've got to get movement. I don't care what anyone says, you've got to get movement on the water, especially when even a light breeze, just pushing the water around, keeping everything moving is really important. And the trouble is, a lot of people who wing it and wait until it gets hot and then go, oh, it's hot, I shall buy an aerator. You won't, because you ring people up. And Mark, bless him, who agriculture equipment, he's coming on the 1st of April. He'll be here to have a talk with people around and about. But like, people try and get hold of him in the summer, and he's running around like a blue-ass fly trying to sell aerators. And you know, you can't. Everyone's very quick to buy fish. Everyone's very quick to buy the latest fish, but they're not as quick to look after them, in my opinion. You know, they want, we've got to have this, got to have that, but then they chuck all these fish in these lakes. They don't think, right, okay, well, how can we make them live for as long as possible, grow for as long as they like to think they do, but a lot of the time they miss out the core fundamental basics and gloss over that almost, like, oh, don't worry about that, it's fine because we've got these fish. but we always just want to make the best out of each bit of water and make the best for the fish. And sometimes you have to make drastic decisions, whether that be cropping or trees, or you have to make these decisions. And sometimes you do. Some people don't agree and say, "Oh no, I'll just leave it, thanks." But inevitably, they're the sort of people who then ring you up in August. Especially last year, some water temperatures around the place were getting 25, 28 degrees, unbelievable.
Yeah,
and then they're wondering why the fish die, and they get upset in the summer. It's like, no, you have to do these things in the winter. Otherwise, you're just not very good at managing your fisheries, really.
Yeah, I was quite pleased the other week when I went down Ashmead that the work we've done, we took all the surface weed out, we got rid of a few of the old cracked willows and what have you, and there weren't much of a breeze down there, but the water were moving, so that's massive difference to what it was last year. I mean, like I say, the water just never moved. It was just stagnant, really.
It had to be done. All that work had to be done, and you obviously are going to annoy people. Even when you cut a tree down here, it upsets people. But it has to be done. It's important stuff. And like you said to me earlier, that the Winter Syndicate caught a decent amount of fish on Ashmead, more so than a few winters in the past.
Yeah, I think it was the second best sort of winter on record catch-wise down there. So yeah.
If you'd have said that, if I'd have said, "Oh, it'll be a great winter," when I was down there with you and your pumps everywhere, you'd have took that, you know. But yeah, you can't. It's like everything. They're livestock at the end of the day. If you leave it and leave it to nature, nature will be cruel and nature will take its course. And you just want to step in before that happens and have as much in your control as possible, because a lot of it isn't in your control with dealing with any livestock. So the things that are, you do them as best you can, and you put in plans in place moving forward, and 9 times out of 10 you can stop those issues from happening if you take it seriously.
To be fair to the guys down at Ashmead on the Winter Syndicate, I think they were all sceptical, as most people were when we first bought
I understand that.
But when I was down there the other week doing the work part, there were a few of the guys that have fished there for years, and I kind of get the feeling they're on board with it now, and they can see what we're doing, and they know our intentions are honourable, if you like, and
of course,
for the fish welfare. And I think slowly people are coming around, which is great.
Well, it's the anglers that ultimately get the benefits out of all the work.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, I don't know why people think that you're there to annoy people. It's like, you're kind of there to keep the fish for the next years and years to come. You're there but you have to make these decisions. And I don't mind being the fall guy for people. I'm going to say that to all the angling clubs we work for. You know, just if you get any whingers, send them my way, because we're doing things that are right for the water and for the environment surrounding and in the lake, and ultimately the fish, which in turn benefits the anglers. So I think
that's the most frustrating part of sort of our work, is that you're correct, you are doing it for the anglers, isn't it? They kind of don't grasp it.
But it's long term. They all, you know what I mean. You've seen it here. It's like long term. It's like when people have set up a fishery and people sort of don't want to join it because the fish are small and they want to come back when the fish are bigger. But by then, the people who are sensible, who get a ticket on it, they keep the ticket, and then the ones that then want to jump back on the bandwagon, they're like, sorry, it's full now. And they often bite the nose off despite the face. Good anglers never moan, and they just get on with it, and there's millions of them, and we've got plenty here. But it's the ones who are annoying, like they're the most vocal ones, and you think, well, it's probably not for you then, to be fair. But yeah, Ashmead's classic example. We work at a lot of venues similar where that level of work, if it isn't done, you never move forward, and you only ever take a dip. And and a lot of people last summer lost big fish, because when you have an oxygen crash or an algal bloom crash, when the algae dies off and you get a crash, quite often it's the big fish that die. And sometimes, a lot of the time, there's so many other fish in the lake that you don't even know they're in there, or they're small, or if you've got huge amounts of weed and the water quality is fluctuating. And unfortunately, when nature takes its course, it's big fish that tend to die, because one big fish needs more oxygen, and it's more stressed, it's bigger than thousands of tiny little ones. So whilst cropping is sensible on some waters, a place like Ashmead and on here, you know, the bigger it is, the more open it is. Every single environment is different that you go into. And you have to adapt what you're doing and the advice you're given for that. But there's always things you can do without a doubt in the winter that can quite often save your summers. Stay on the same subject. We've got the Fishery Managers Conference here in next month. That's something that you've organised. How's that gone? Bloody well, actually. Yeah, I mean, it was. I've wanted to do it for ages, and I mean, Viv and Bernice do an amazing job down at Sparsholt, and I've been lucky to be a guest speaker down there many times. I really enjoy it. Obviously, I studied down there, as did Viv, and they put on a really good thing down there. And I kind of wanted to do something and integrate the Carp Society in it, and I thought, well, it'd be great just to do something here and have a little bit more sort of relatable to anglers rather than just sort of, because there's a lot of, with the EA and CFAS, and it's all relevant stuff. It's really good for fishery managers, but I kind of wanted to open it up a little bit more to anglers to try and give those that are interested a bit more of a general understanding about what it is we do working in the industry, sort of on a grassroots level really. And so I've asked people who are friends of mine who are very well respected people and professionals within the industry to come down and talk about, yes, what they do and how they go about what they're doing, but also how they got into it. Their background, because I think it's really interesting, and it is a lifestyle choice to try and do this for a living. But the people that come, it's great. You've got really good guest speakers, and I'm really looking forward to it. And I know they'll all enjoy it as well. And they're all passionate people who care about it like we do. So yeah, it's really good. I think we could have sold out. If we had 3 times the space, we could have sold more tickets. But it's the first one, and I'm sure we'll do another one after this. We can do a lot more. I want to do more sort of interactive stuff in future and move forward that way, because I love doing it. And I think the more awareness, and also getting younger people involved, like Dave Parr, who's speaking. He's basically runs the Earl of Harrington Angling Club. They've gone from sort of years and years ago, didn't have much water at all, and sort of struggling to get juniors in. It was run by the old guard, like a lot of these angling clubs are now. You go there and there's juniors involved, and same with Highbridge Angling Club. There's loads of angling clubs now which are embracing like lots of just modern fishery management and getting youngsters involved by getting them to giving them key roles and that sort of thing. So I think all that moving forward is, rather than just like I said to you before, we go to a lot of angling clubs that are so stuck in the dark ages and they never move forward, and then they wonder why nothing really happens, and they're losing membership and the fishing's on the decline because they won't grasp what needs to happen. So I think the more we can push it forward in a sensible way and just be honest with people really, and just show them what really goes on, I think that's a positive thing.
The one we've got in April, I think it's sold out in a day, so it's sort of a bit late for this one, but if anyone wants to come to the next one, keep your eye out, because we will definitely be having some more and stuff. And like I say, it's not just fishery managers. We sort of want anglers to come along and get a little bit of understanding of what we do. Definitely. Cool. Right, I'll let you get on with it. We've had a busy morning. Thanks for coming at short notice anyway.
No problem at all. Take care.
Cheers, Andrew.
Right, there you go, back end of March now, so as you've seen, things don't always go to plan, but I think one of the key things in this game is you've got to think on your feet. 9 times out of 10 things don't always go to plan, but anyway, that was March, and we'll see you in April, and in the meantime I'll leave you with a few other fish that have been caught all through the last month or so. Catch you later, bye.